Maya had everything she thought she wanted. At 28, she lived in a beautiful apartment on the 15th floor with windows that showed the whole city. Every morning, she would put on her expensive clothes and drive her shiny car to the marketing company where she worked. People respected her. Her friends envied her lifestyle. Everything looked perfect from the outside, but Maya's life was like a house built on sand. She worked 14 hours every day, always chasing the next big project. She barely had time to eat proper meals or call her family. Her relationship with her boyfriend Alex was falling apart, but she was too busy to notice the warning signs. Alex had a secret problem that Maya didn't know about. While she worked late nights, he spent his evenings at the casino. At first, it was just for fun, a few dollars here and there. But slowly, the small bets became bigger ones. The occasional visits became every night. Alex told himself he could win back what he lost, but the debt kept growing like a snowball rolling down a hill. Maya trusted Alex completely. When he asked her to sign some papers, she didn't read them carefully. She thought they were just normal documents about their shared expenses. She had no idea that Alex was using her apartment and her savings as security for his debts. Love made her blind to the danger she was walking into. The first sign of trouble came on a Tuesday morning. Maya woke up and found Alex's side of the bed empty. His clothes were gone. His phone was switched off. There was only a note on the kitchen table that said sorry and promised he would fix everything soon. But Maya knew in her heart that sorry wouldn't bring back what was already lost. Within hours, strange men in suits started knocking on her door. They spoke about money Alex owed and showed her papers with her signature on them. Maya's hands shook as she read the documents: her beautiful apartment, her car, even her savings account. Everything was connected to Alex's debts. The number was so big it made her feel sick. Maya tried calling everyone she knew for help. Her friends suddenly became busy. Her family lived far away and had their own problems. The bank showed no mercy. The legal system moved fast when money was involved. In just 3 weeks, Maya lost her home, her car, and almost all her money. Her boss at the marketing company was understanding at first, but Maya couldn't focus on her work anymore. She made mistakes on important projects. She forgot meetings. Her mind was always thinking about her problems. After 2 months of poor performance, her boss had to let her go. Maya understood, but it still felt like another door closing in her face. With no job and no home, Maya found herself in a cheap motel on the edge of town. The room smelled like old cigarettes and had a bed that made her back hurt. The walls were thin, so she could hear every conversation from the neighboring rooms. This wasn't the life she had planned for herself. Maya's designer dresses stayed in their bags. Instead, she wore simple clothes from the thrift store down the street. Her expensive makeup ran out, and she couldn't afford to replace it. She looked at herself in the cracked mirror of the motel bathroom and barely recognized the woman staring back. To survive, Maya took any work she could find. She delivered food on a borrowed bicycle. She cleaned offices at night when everyone else had gone home. She helped elderly people with their shopping. The work was honest, but it barely paid enough for food and the motel room. Every day was a struggle to make enough money to see the next sunrise. Maya's phone, which once rang constantly with work calls and social invitations, became silent. Her friends had moved on with their lives. The invitations to parties and dinners stopped coming. Maya realized that many of her relationships were based on her success, not on who she really was as a person. 3 months passed like this. Maya watched other people through the motel window, living normal lives, going to normal jobs, having normal problems that seemed small compared to hers. She wondered how everything had gone wrong so quickly. 6 months ago, she was successful and confident. Now she was invisible, just another person struggling to get by. The hardest part wasn't the money or the uncomfortable bed. It was the loneliness. Maya had always been independent, but she had never been truly alone like this. She missed having someone to talk to about her day. She missed feeling important and needed. She missed the person she used to be. At night, when the motel was quiet, Maya would lie awake thinking about her choices. She thought about the signs she had missed with Alex. She thought about how focused she had been on work that she forgot about everything else. She thought about the friends who had disappeared when her success vanished. Most of all, she thought about what she was going to do next. Pride had always been Maya's strength. She took pride in her work, her independence, her achievements. But now that same pride felt like a heavy chain around her neck. She needed help. But asking for help meant admitting that she had failed. It meant showing the world that the successful Maya they knew was gone. As Maya sat on the edge of her motel bed, counting the few dollars she had left, she knew that something had to change. She couldn't keep living day by day, hoping things would get better on their own. She needed to make a decision, even if it meant letting go of the last piece of her old self. The question was, did she have the courage to take that step? Maya stared at the ceiling of her motel room for what felt like hours. The water stain above her bed looked like a map of nowhere, which was exactly where her life had ended up. She had $12 left in her wallet, and 3 days before the motel owner would ask for next week's rent, her phone battery was almost dead. Just like her hope. Then she remembered Ryan. Ryan Chen had been her study partner in college. While other students partied on weekends, Ryan spent his time in the library, drawing building designs and talking about his dreams of becoming an architect. Maya remembered how his eyes would light up when he talked about creating homes where families could be happy. She also remembered the night he told her he loved her. It was during their final year. They were sitting in the campus coffee shop, surrounded by textbooks and empty cups. Ryan had been nervous, playing with his pencil while he spoke. He told Maya that he had feelings for her, that he wanted to build a future together. But Maya was young and foolish then. She wanted excitement and adventure, not quiet stability. She had gently turned him down, saying they were better as friends. Ryan had smiled sadly and said he understood. He never brought it up again. After graduation, they lost touch. Maya heard through mutual friends that Ryan had started his own architecture firm and was doing well. She was happy for him, but she never reached out. Her life was too busy, too full of other things. Now, sitting in this depressing motel room, Maya wondered what Ryan was doing. Did he still think about their college days? Was he married? Did he have the family he always talked about wanting? The question swirled in her mind as she made a decision that scared her more than losing everything else. Maya spent her last few dollars on bus fare to downtown. She had looked up Ryan's company online at the public library. Chen Architecture was located in a modern building with glass walls and clean lines, even from the outside. Maya could see Ryan's style in the design. It was elegant but welcoming, just like he had always been. She stood across the street for 20 minutes, watching people go in and out of the building. Everyone looked professional and confident. Everything Maya no longer felt, her reflection. In the store window showed a woman in faded jeans and a wrinkled shirt. Her hair needed cutting, and her shoes had holes that she tried to hide by walking carefully. When Maya finally crossed the street, her heart was beating so fast she thought it might explode. The lobby was beautiful, with warm wood and soft lighting. A friendly receptionist asked if she could help, and Maya almost turned around and left instead. She asked if Ryan Chen was available. The receptionist made a phone call, and within minutes, Ryan appeared. Maya barely recognized him. The shy college boy had grown into a confident man. His hair was shorter now, and he wore a well-fitted suit. But his eyes were the same kind eyes she remembered. When he saw Maya, his face went through several emotions at once: surprise, concern, and something that might have been old affection. Ryan led Maya to his office without asking questions. The walls were covered with pictures of beautiful buildings he had designed. Awards and certificates hung in frames. Through the window, Maya could see the city skyline. This was the life Ryan had built for himself, and Maya felt ashamed of how far she had fallen. Ryan offered Maya coffee and waited patiently while she tried to find the words. When she finally started talking, everything came out at once. She told him about Alex's disappearance, about the debts, about losing her job and her home. She told him about the motel and the food delivery job and how scared she was every single day. Ryan listened without interrupting. His face showed pain as Maya described her situation, and she could see that he genuinely cared about what had happened to her. This made what she had to say next even harder. When Maya finished explaining her circumstances, she took a deep breath and said the words that had been burning in her throat. She asked Ryan if he would consider having her as his life partner, not because she loved him, she admitted with painful honesty, but because she was desperate and had nowhere else to turn. Maya promised Ryan that she would be the best partner she could be. She would support his dreams, help with his business, maybe even give him the family he had always wanted. She would never take him for granted the way she had in college. All she needed was a chance to prove herself worthy of his kindness. The office became very quiet after Maya finished speaking. Ryan sat back in his chair, his fingers pressed together like he was thinking hard about something important. Maya could hear her own heartbeat and the sound of traffic from the street below. She had never felt more vulnerable in her entire life. Ryan's response wasn't what Maya expected. Instead of saying yes or no immediately, he asked her questions. How was she really doing emotionally? What did she want from life beyond just survival? Did she think she was ready for a serious relationship in her current state? His questions were gentle but direct, and they made Maya think about things she had been avoiding. After what felt like forever, Ryan stood up and walked to his window. He looked out at the city for a long moment before turning back to Maya. His expression was kind but serious, and Maya knew that her life was about to change again. She just didn't know if it would be for better or worse. Ryan's answer would determine not just her immediate future, but whether she would have any future at all. Maya held her breath and waited for the words that would either save her or send her back to that lonely motel room with nothing left to hope for. Ryan didn't sleep for 3 nights after Maya's visit. He kept thinking about the broken woman who had sat in his office, so different from the confident girl he had known in college. Every time he closed his eyes, he could see the pain in her face when she asked him to be her partner, not out of love, but out of desperation. Part of Ryan's heart wanted to say yes immediately. He had loved Maya for so long that seeing her in trouble made him want to protect her from the world. But Ryan was wiser now than he had been in college. He understood that relationships built on need alone were like houses built without proper foundations. They might stand for a while, but eventually they would collapse. On Thursday morning, Ryan made his decision. He called Maya at the motel and asked her to come to his office again. When she arrived, she looked even more nervous than before. Her hand shook slightly as she sat down, and Ryan could see that she had barely slept either. Ryan chose his words carefully. He told Maya that he wanted to help her, but not in the way she had asked. Instead of immediately accepting her as his life partner, he had a different proposal. He offered her a job as his assistant in a small apartment above his workshop. The pay would be fair, and she would have a safe place to live while she got back on her feet. Maya's face showed relief, but Ryan wasn't finished talking. He explained that this wasn't charity or pity. She would have to work hard and prove herself every day. More importantly, Ryan set a condition that surprised Maya completely. If she truly wanted to be his partner someday, she would first need to learn to love herself again. Ryan could see that Maya didn't understand what he meant. He explained gently that the woman sitting in front of him was broken and scared. She was running from her problems instead of facing them. Any relationship they started now would be unfair to both of them. Maya would be settling for security instead of choosing love. And Ryan would always wonder if she was with him because she wanted to be or because she had to be. Maya sat quietly for a long time, processing Ryan's words. Finally, she asked what he expected from her. Ryan smiled for the first time since she had walked into his office. He told her that he expected her to rediscover who she really was underneath all the fear and desperation. He wanted her to build her confidence back, to remember her strengths, and to heal from everything that had hurt her. The apartment above Ryan's workshop was small, but clean. It had 1 bedroom, a tiny kitchen, and windows that looked out over a garden. After months in the motel, it felt like a palace to Maya. The furniture was simple but comfortable, and everything smelled fresh and new. For the first time in months, Maya felt like she could breathe properly. Working as Ryan's assistant was different from anything Maya had done before. Ryan's architecture firm was busy but peaceful. People spoke quietly and treated each other with respect. Ryan introduced Maya to everyone as his new assistant, and nobody asked questions about her past or why she was there. They simply accepted her and helped her learn the job. Maya's first tasks were simple. She answered phones, organized files, and made coffee for client meetings. But as days passed, Ryan began giving her more responsibility. He asked her to help prepare presentations and research building materials. Maya discovered that she enjoyed learning about architecture and design. There was something satisfying about creating beautiful, functional spaces where people could live and work happily. Ryan was patient with Maya's mistakes and encouraging when she did things well. He never made her feel stupid for not knowing something, and he always had time to explain things clearly. Maya began to remember why she had liked him so much in college. Ryan had a calm strength that made everyone around him feel safe and valued. As weeks passed, Maya noticed changes in herself. She started sleeping better and eating regular meals. She bought new clothes that fit properly and made her feel good about herself. More importantly, she began to think about the future instead of just surviving each day. The constant fear that had lived in her chest for months started to fade away. Maya also began to see Ryan differently. In college, she had thought he was boring compared to more exciting guys. Now she appreciated his steadiness and kindness. She watched how he treated his employees, his clients, and even the delivery people who brought lunch. Ryan was genuinely good to everyone, not because he wanted something from them, but because that was simply who he was. One evening, as Maya was organizing blueprints in the office, she found herself wondering what it would be like to actually love Ryan instead of just needing him. The thought scared her because it felt too good to be true. Could someone like Ryan really care about someone like her? Not the successful Maya from before, but the real Maya who had made mistakes and lost everything. Ryan seemed to sense Maya's growing confidence. He started asking her opinion on design choices and including her in client meetings. He encouraged her to take online courses about interior design and construction management. Maya realized that Ryan wasn't just giving her a job. He was helping her build a new career and a new sense of purpose. 3 months after Maya moved into the apartment, she received a phone call that would test everything she had learned about herself. Her former boss from the marketing company called to offer her a position at a new firm in another city. The salary was excellent, and it would be a chance to return to her old life of success. In recognition, Maya sat in her small apartment that night, thinking about the offer. A few months ago, she would have accepted immediately without thinking about anything else. But now she found herself considering what she would be leaving behind. She thought about Ryan's kindness, about the peaceful life she was building, and about the person she was becoming. For the first time since losing everything, Maya had a real choice to make, and whatever she decided would show her whether she had truly learned to value herself or if she was still running from one situation to another. Maya stared at her phone for hours after the job offer call ended. The marketing director had been enthusiastic, promising her a corner office, a company car, and a salary that would let her live comfortably again. It was everything she thought she wanted 6 months ago. But now, sitting in her small apartment above Ryan's workshop, Maya felt confused about what she actually wanted. The next morning, Maya went to work as usual, but she couldn't focus. Ryan noticed immediately. During their coffee break, he asked if everything was okay. Maya hesitated, then told him about the job offer. She watched Ryan's face carefully, looking for any sign of jealousy or fear. Instead, she saw something that surprised her completely. Ryan smiled and said he was proud of her. He told Maya that getting such an offer proved how much she had grown over the past few months. When Maya asked what he thought she should do, Ryan's answer shocked her. He said she should seriously consider taking the job if it would make her happy. He didn't want her to stay because she felt trapped or grateful. He wanted her to choose her own path. That conversation changed something in Maya's heart. For the first time, she realized that Ryan wasn't trying to control her or keep her dependent on him. He genuinely wanted what was best for her, even if it meant losing her. This selfless love was so different from what she had experienced with Alex, who had always put his own needs first. Over the following weeks, Maya found herself paying closer attention to Ryan. She noticed how he hummed quietly while working on designs, how he always remembered to ask about his employees' families, and how his face lit up when a project came together perfectly. She saw how he treated difficult clients with patience and how he celebrated his team's successes as if they were his own. Maya also began to see herself differently. The woman who looked back at her in the mirror wasn't the desperate person who had begged for help months ago. Her hair was healthy again, her clothes fit well, and most importantly, her eyes had life in them. She had learned to use design software, could read architectural drawings, and had even helped solve several construction problems with creative solutions. One evening, Maya was working late in the office when Ryan brought her dinner from the restaurant down the street. As they ate together, surrounded by blueprints and coffee cups, Maya realized how comfortable they had become with each other. Their conversations flowed easily, mixing work topics with personal stories and silly jokes. This felt nothing like the desperate partnership she had once proposed. Ryan began including Maya in more important aspects of his business. He asked her to attend site visits where she could see buildings taking shape from their drawings. Maya loved these trips. She enjoyed talking to the construction workers and seeing how Ryan's designs became real places where people would live and work. She started offering suggestions that Ryan often incorporated into his plans. The turning point came during a particularly challenging project. A family wanted Ryan to design their dream home, but they had a very tight budget. Maya spent hours researching affordable materials and creative space solutions. She worked evenings and weekends, driven by a desire to help this family get the home they wanted. When Ryan saw Maya's research and suggestions, he was amazed. Her ideas were practical, beautiful, and cost-effective. Together, they created a design that gave the family everything they needed within their budget. When the family saw the plans, they cried with happiness. Maya had never felt so proud of any work she had done in her marketing career. That night, Ryan took Maya to dinner to celebrate their success. As they talked about the project, Maya realized that she wasn't just working for Ryan anymore. She was working with him as a true partner. Their skills complemented each other perfectly. Ryan had the technical knowledge and artistic vision, while Maya brought practical problem-solving and client communication skills. During dessert, Maya made a decision. She told Ryan that she was going to decline the marketing job offer. Ryan looked concerned and asked if she was sure. He didn't want her to make the choice based on gratitude or fear. Maya laughed and explained that gratitude had nothing to do with it. Maya told Ryan that she had found something in architecture that she had never found in marketing. She loved creating spaces where people could be happy. She loved the challenge of solving design problems. Most importantly, she loved working with someone who valued her ideas and treated her as an equal partner. Ryan's response surprised Maya. Again, he said he had been thinking about offering her a formal partnership in his firm, not because he felt sorry for her or because he wanted to keep her close, but because she had proven herself to be talented and dedicated. He wanted to change the company name to Chen and Associates, with Maya as his first associate. Maya felt tears in her eyes, but they were happy tears this time. 6 months ago, she had begged Ryan to accept her as his partner out of desperation. Now he was offering her a real partnership based on her abilities and contributions. The difference meant everything to Maya. As they walked back to the office building that night, Maya looked up at her apartment window and felt something she hadn't experienced in years. She felt genuinely happy with her life, not because it was perfect or impressive to others, but because it was real and meaningful to her. Maya realized that she had been asking herself the wrong question. Instead of wondering whether she was good enough for Ryan, she should have been asking whether they were good for each other. And looking at the man walking beside her, talking excitedly about their future projects, Maya knew the answer was yes. 3 months had passed since Maya became Ryan's business partner. Chen and Associates was growing faster than either of them had expected. Their different skills worked together. Like pieces of a perfect puzzle, Ryan created beautiful designs, while Maya handled client relationships and practical solutions. Their office had a waiting list of families wanting them to design their homes. Maya had moved into a larger apartment downtown, but she found herself spending most of her time at the office or Ryan's house, working on projects together. They had developed an easy rhythm of collaboration that felt natural and comfortable. But lately, Maya noticed that her feelings for Ryan were changing in ways that both excited and scared her. It started with small moments, the way Ryan's face concentrated when he sketched new ideas, how he always saved the last slice of pizza for her during their working dinners, the gentle way he spoke to worried clients, making them feel heard and understood. Maya began to realize that somewhere between gratitude and partnership, she had fallen genuinely in love with Ryan. The problem was that Maya didn't know if Ryan felt the same way. He was kind and caring, but he had always been that way with everyone. Maya worried that he still saw her as the broken woman who had begged for his help, not as someone he could love as an equal. The fear of ruining their perfect working relationship kept her from saying anything about her changing feelings. Ryan, meanwhile, was fighting his own internal battle. He had loved Maya since college, but he had watched her grow from a desperate person into a confident, talented woman. He was proud of her transformation, but he was terrified of taking advantage of her gratitude. What if she felt obligated to return his feelings because of everything he had done for her? What if she left? Again, if someone more exciting came along? The tension between them came to a head during their biggest project yet. A wealthy businessman wanted them to design a luxury hotel that would become the centerpiece of the downtown area. It was the kind of project that could make their careers, but it was also incredibly stressful. Maya and Ryan worked 18-hour days, surviving on coffee and determination. One night, after a particularly difficult meeting with demanding investors, Maya and Ryan sat in their office feeling defeated. The investors wanted changes that would compromise the building's beauty and functionality. Maya could see how much the criticism hurt Ryan, who poured his heart into every design. Without thinking, Maya reached over and took Ryan's hand. She told him that his designs were brilliant, and that the investors were wrong to ask him to change his vision. As she spoke, she realized how much she cared about Ryan's happiness and success. It wasn't just about business anymore. She loved him, and she needed him to know. Maya took a deep breath and told Ryan the truth. She explained that her feelings for him had grown from gratitude to genuine love. She said that she no longer needed him for survival, but she wanted him because of who he was. She loved his kindness, his creativity, and the way he made her want to be a better person every day. Ryan listened quietly, his eyes never leaving Maya's face when she finished speaking. He was quiet for so long that Maya began to worry she had made a terrible mistake. Finally, Ryan spoke, and his words surprised Maya completely. Ryan told Maya that he had been in love with her since college. Through her relationship with Alex, through her desperate plea for help, and through every day they had worked together. But he had also been afraid that she might be confusing gratitude with love, or that she might leave if something better came along. Maya felt tears in her eyes as she realized how much pain they had both been carrying unnecessarily. She assured Ryan that her feelings were real and had nothing to do with gratitude. She had fallen in love with the man he was now, not the memory of college or the security he had provided. To prove her point, Maya showed Ryan something she had been working on secretly for weeks. She had been designing an expansion to their office building that would include a showroom for their work and a conference center for client meetings. The plans were detailed and professional, showing how much she had learned and how committed she was to their shared future. Ryan studied the drawings with amazement. Maya had thought of everything, from the building materials to the landscaping. It was clear that she wasn't just planning to stay for convenience. She was planning to build a life and career with him because that was what she genuinely wanted. 6 months later, Maya and Ryan stood in the garden behind their newly expanded office building. The hotel project had been a huge success, and their business was thriving. But the most important success was their relationship, which had grown from desperation to partnership to deep, mutual love. Their wedding was small and simple. Maya wore a dress she had chosen herself, not because it was expensive or impressive, but because it made her feel beautiful and happy. Ryan's vows talked about how Maya had taught him that real love isn't about rescuing someone, but about choosing to build a life together as equals. Maya's vows were about transformation and choice. She talked about how she had once begged Ryan to accept her as his partner out of desperation, but now she was choosing him out of love. She had learned that the best relationships aren't born from need, but from two whole people deciding to share their lives. As they danced their first dance as husband and wife, Maya thought about her journey. She had lost everything and found herself. She had been broken and become whole. Most importantly, she had learned the difference between needing someone and choosing someone. Maya looked at Ryan's face as they danced, seeing the same quiet strength that had attracted her in college, but now appreciating it fully. She no longer needed him to save her because she had learned to save herself. Instead, she had chosen him as her partner in building something beautiful together. The small crowd of family, friends, and clients watched the couple dance, many of them knowing the story of how they had found each other again. It wasn't a fairy tale about rescue and romance. It was a real story about growth, healing, and learning to love authentically. As the evening ended and the guests went home, Maya and Ryan stood together looking at their office building, now expanded and successful. Tomorrow they would return to work on new projects, helping other families create beautiful homes. But tonight, they were simply two people who had found their way to each other through honesty, patience, and real love. Maya smiled as she remembered her desperate plea from months ago. She had asked Ryan to accept her as his mate when she had nothing to offer but need. Now she was his wife, his business partner, and his equal, offering him her whole heart by choice. The difference, Maya realized, had made all the difference in the world.